When we first got together, Sue knew that I loved riding bikes, and frankly she was more than happy to ride pillion, until one day she just said to me, you know what, I think I might want to learn to ride my own bike.
Well, when I was 16, the only way of having any sort of independence was to get on my moped. So I remember having a brand new Suzuki 50 that was restricted to 30 miles an hour. A number of times as somebody knocked me off my moped, and the sound of "sorry love, didn't see you" was ringing in my ears. So it should have put me off for life. No, it didn't. And I hadn't ever thought of riding a bike until you came along and I got back on as a pillion. As a pillion, it was always in my head, you know, what if I ever had to ride the bike back? What if I ever had to get us back and you weren't able to? It was about, you know, I think I could do that, and that looks fun. All the other ladies that I knew of, not many, were pillion, and I guess I just wanted to have a go myself.
Welcome to Woollaston BMW.
I think the CBT was great. I enjoyed the experience, and even though I hadn't been on a bike of any kind really since I was 16 when I had my moped, I found it remarkably easy to do the slow riding and the stuff that I needed to do, so to get used to the bike. So I quite enjoyed it. Having passed my CBT, we then went out on our trip. If I remember rightly, we were heading down to the BMW garage in Oxford to look at bikes. Well, driving along the dual carriageway, I pulled in. If I remember rightly, my mirrors were wobbling about, and when I pulled out, the next thing I remember is my little 125 pulling a wheelie, the front wheel wobbling all over as I hit the deck again, and then me falling off. Well, I felt like a bit of an idiot, but my initial reaction was, this probably isn't for me. Maybe I shouldn't be doing this. And I think looking back, that was because I didn't really know what I'd done wrong. All I knew was that my bike had wobbled, the front wheel had gone, and I'd fallen off. And it was there could have been better places down to fall off than a dual carriageway. Well, the first thing I did in terms of confidence building, I went back to Karl and I asked him to spend a day with me and watch me ride and tell me what I was doing wrong. And actually within about an hour of me being on the bike, I did the same. Fortunately I didn't fall off, but what I'd done is I was so keen to switch off my indicator, as of course I've been programmed to do through my CBT, immediately switch off your indicator, that I dumped the clutch. And what that had meant is that had caused the wheelie, because I nearly did it again on that day out with Karl. But that told me what I'd done wrong. And I think that's the important thing, is knowing if you do something stupid, why it happens, so you can put it right the next time. I was looking forward to getting on the bigger bike, and I was surprised actually how much easier it felt riding the Yam, it's a phaser I think, than riding the 125. It had a bit of substance to it, it felt a bit more solid. Clearly it's heavier, but I was surprised at how easy it was to ride, and I really enjoyed riding it. Having done all the rehearsals, I'd done everything right a gazillion times, and of course on the day of the test I went to do my round the cones and put my foot down. So I was very mad at myself. So that was very stupid. So I rebooked to do my Mod 1. I think I did it about a week later. And as luck would have it, it was in Hurricane Doris. And it was in Kettering. So I had to bike all the way in the hurricane to do my Mod 1, which I passed. Mod 2, it's everyday riding, the town riding, a little bit of riding on roads where you can go up nationals. So they look at your full range of riding. A dog leg in terms of the turn, so a left-hand turn and then an immediate right-hand turn. I was so nervous about the test that I probably didn't look confident on the bike, and that was the examiner's concern. It was the same examiner that failed me and failed me again. I think my immediate thought was, when I redo it, I don't want the same examiner, which fortunately I didn't get. Mod 2, again, I did about a week later. I did it quite quickly, and it couldn't have been more different. I think probably I was a bit more relaxed. We didn't go the same route, even though we did some tight turns, it wasn't exactly the same route. And I think my headspace was different. I think it was just, you know, I've done this 1,000 times, I'm going to be able to do it. So I did. I did lots of practice on the big bike. But actually you don't really learn to ride properly until you're out on your own. A GS 700, and that was a great bike to do that practice on. It was a really great transition from the 125 to a bigger bike. So I think that was the perfect bike for me to pass my test and get my practice on.
Right.
Fantastic. I think you'd go a long way to find a better bike than my lovely GS 700.
After Sue passed her test, it was just then a question of getting more miles under the belt, building her confidence with more experience, and to that end we decided we would sign up for the bike safe course run by the police in Rockingham. This was to get some more advanced skills, and the next 6,000 miles we're just taking up with just get as much practice, as many miles as we could. Some day trips, short weekend trips, and a couple of longer tours abroad.
It's been fantastic. I've had that independence on my own bike. I felt like I've really achieved something. I think the hardest bit was when I'd done my CBT and was practicing and I came off my 125. I think that was really easy to think, oh, this isn't for me, and give up. I'm really glad I didn't. Nothing comes easy, so I'm really glad that I kept on with it. It's never easy to fail a test. And of course I failed my Mod 1 first time, and I failed my Mod 2, which was a real kick in the pride. But it's about keeping going, and if you really want to do it, sticking with it. It's been great. We've had some great trips. We've been to some great places, and it's a new skill. And you know, you and I spend our lives talking to people about stretching themselves at work. It's really important to stretch yourself and learn new things in your private life as well. I think the best advice is make sure, if you give it a go, that you choose the right tutor. It's really important that you get somebody that will be supportive and give you really honest feedback, but really constructive feedback, and I got that in Karl. But if you're thinking about doing it, go for it.